morning, everybody. Jeff here. Today we're going to talk about, yes, the Snyder Cut, because I finally watched it last night, and there will be minor spoilers. First off, my too long didn't read overall thoughts on the movie. Out of 10, a 6. It was better than the Joss Whedon cut, but there's still massive problems with the movie. There's still underlying issues at the core base of the movie, and this will be a running theme for me. At the base level of the movie, that the Snyder Cut simply just does not fix. In fact, kind of breaks one character worse, while kind of fixing two other characters, but still not fixing the underlying problem I had with both of them. Does absolutely fuck all with two other ones, and the last one, while kind of flashy, really doesn't change shit. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about first the making, having this direct, and all this, guys. This was not the second coming. This was not the messianic thing. This was not all the hype there, but it was a 2-hour extended director's cut. Point blank, plain and simple. All this stuff like, oh, it's going to do everything. Oh, it's going to be so wonderful. No, it wasn't. It was a director's cut. All it was. And a director's cut, as my friend Mary Mayhem said, for a good portion of the movie was just jerking itself off. And as my other friend, Jesse Milestone, said, 90 minutes in and that movie felt like it was taking for fucking ever. Yeah. And going back to what Mary said about jerking itself off, the whole Batman trying to recruit Aquaman in Act 1. That sequence from the time Batman showed up to the time he flew away took way too fucking long. I'm sorry, Joss Whedon was right to cut that shit down. Oh my god, I was just like, are we done yet? Because holy fuck, that took too long. That was probably the clearest instant, and it set the tone of, oh my god, it's going to be like this the rest of the fucking movie. Where, I mean, granted, there were certain editions that were totally fine, and we'll get to that. But there are certain other editions where I'm just like, oh my god, will this just fucking end? I just could not stand it. So, that out of the way, let's talk about characters, because that's where the meat and potatoes, where I'm probably going to, kind of somewhat focus on my thoughts. We'll start off with the Flash. Now, with the Flash, they didn't make him a nincompoop this time. Batman didn't have to tell him what to do at almost every stage. Zack made the Flash infinitely more useful, and I congratulate him for that. And the fact that the Flash had definitely more explored his powers than he had originally in the Joss Whedon cut. And in the final fight, yeah, he was really useful for one specific reason. And it got to show off what the Flash can really do. Other than that, though, he was a buffoon. They slightly fixed the whole, oh my god, I'm almost utterly useless, to, I'm useful, but I'm still an idiot. I mean, the best way to explain the Flash, they took the Flash, the Barry Allen Now, look, I am no Eric July. I am no just some guy. I am no comic book connoisseur. I'm not your boy Zach. I've read a little of a little. I've seen Flash in some other mediums, including the 90s live TV show, the CW show, played the DC Universe Online game, watched, the animated shows from DC during the 90s. So that's generally my basis of range on the Flash. And I'm sorry, Barry Allen is not a fucking buffoon. Geeky? Yeah. Kind of talks trash a bit? Absolutely. But he's not a buffoon. And in this movie, the Flash was a buffoon. And that was one of the underlying problems that I had the last go-around. Now, like I said, they elevate him a bit to where, he actually does useful things and doesn't have to be told what to do almost on a moment-by-moment basis, which was a good upgrade, but it still wasn't enough. It just was not enough. And I know, a nitpick, but as a sprinter, Once Upon a Time. The way Ezra Miller sprints in this movie is just so unrealistic and utterly inefficient. It just, every time I saw him run, I'm just like, why? I mean, at least when I watch Grant Gustin run, he looks like a sprinter. He actually looks like he has proper form of running. But Ezra Miller, oh my God, the way he flaps is just so utterly inefficient. And as a sprinter, it just irks me. I'm sorry, I know it's a silly-ass little nitpick, but there it is. It's just one of those things that's just like, I was taught the proper way to sprint! Fuck's sake, do it right! And I'm gonna leave Flash at that. So, upgrade on Flash, but it wasn't enough. Cyborg, yes, he's more intricately tied to the story. Cool. Yes, they definitely give him some more backstory. Cool. But at the end of the day, again, as what Eric July would say, Mr. Ripa would say, I'm barely a cut above a normie, but I do know a little bit about Cyborg, and he's a C-list character, guys. Let's just cut to the fucking chase. I know this is going to infuriate a couple. He's a C-list character. He didn't deserve to be in the Justice League. That's my underlying problem with Cyborg. He didn't deserve to be here. He didn't deserve to be in the show yet. He should have been in, like, Teen Titans, where I generally know him from. He is a C-list character, and he's at an A-list event, and it fucking shows. Granted, again, they intricately tied him to the movie. I get that, but it was undeserved. And shoehorning his origin story the way they did, kind of like the same way at The Flash, it was like, cool, you gave him more depth, but at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. Now, you guys can. Totally cool with you. That's just the way I feel. And if still an underlying problem in the Joss Whedon cut, it's still an underlying problem here. I just don't give a shit about Cyborg. And that's where I'm going to leave Cyborg. Now to Aquaman, and this is where consistency comes in. Willem Dafoe's character. Now, actually, in the first cut, I couldn't remember. Now, suddenly, his name pops into my head. Hey, guys, second cut, sometimes you remember. But anyways, Willem Dafoe's character. Oh, my God, does he look fucking terrible in this movie. Think to Aquaman, how he's reserved, well-dressed, well-kept. In this one, he looks like a bedraggled old man in some armor. And it's like, why? Zach, Aquaman has a thing. Why would you degrade Willem Dafoe like that? Why? There was no need to. You could have easily fixed that. What the fuck? That was just insulting to me right there for Willem Dafoe's part. Then there comes Mira and the major conversation that she has with Aquaman, and it's like, okay, this just makes the opening sequences for Aquaman utterly inconsistent, because when he first meets Mira when she saves his father at the beginning of Aquaman, he has almost no clue who she is. And he also acts like he's never been to Atlantis before. Now in Zack Snyder's cut, not only has he been to Atlantis, so the entire, shock and awe of him seeing Atlantis in the first place, he should be out the fucking window. He knows generally who Mira is. Maybe didn't know her name. And then, of course, Mira in the Zack Snyder cut already has what I like to call the heaving breast syndrome, where a woman sees a man, she's really hot for him, and you can see her breasts heaving like, okay, I want to jump his bones, and I want to make Atlantean babies. Where in Aquaman, yeah, she kind of thinks he's kind of hot, but doesn't have that particular problem until closer to the Sicily sequence. Though Aquaman, you can definitely tell he has a itch in his loins, and he is hot for her too. So it's not like it was all one way. Now, of course, I know Amber Heard and all that, but you know what? She was there. She did a job. She did it decently well. Yes, there's other baggage. Yes, I will criticize her for that, but she did her job. That's all I'm going to say on Amber Heard's regard. And as far as Aquaman, other than that, he was there. He was one of the big heavy hitters until Superman showed up. And we're going to get to Superman, because god damn it did they not fix Superman. Batman. It was a problem in Joss Whedon. It's a problem now. Again, you guys can see where I'm going with this. Batman, he felt more like a plot device than a character most times. He basically got people from point A to point B, got tech where other people could use it, like Cyborg with the Nightcrawler and all that. And other than that, it was almost inconsequential besides gathering the team together, getting them from point A to point B when they needed to, and getting them useful information from Alfred and maybe some strategy. Like the final fight. He drops them off, he goes in, blows up the tower, acts like a distraction for a bit, and then it's just, grabbing a laser gun from one of the enemy soldiers and picking off bad guys. And every once in a while, he might show up to help a character, but generally through most of the fight, he's a non-entity. And again, did not even bother showing up against the fight against Steppenwolf, which irritates the shit out of me because in the Justice League cartoon, Batman was there fighting. And here's another thing with Batman. While he did get a kind of an armored up suit like he did in the original cut, why didn't he have an armored suit like he did in BVS? Where, he could actually go toe-to-toe with someone like, I don't know, Superman for a bit and not get actually crushed under heel? Why didn't he fix his mech suit? Why wasn't Batman using his? Because Batman is a very smart man. Yes, I know it kind of smacks of Iron Man, but in the DC Comics, Batman did have an armored suit like that. Why the hell wasn't he using his powered-up armored suit again? It would make sense considering everybody else is a superpowered individual and he's basically just a guy with a lot of money, a guy with a lot of street smarts, and a guy with a lot of fighting prowess and peak human shape. But it also shows Batman is a 20-year veteran. He's slowing down. I mean, he should have had something kind of akin to, I don't know, the Terry McGinnis suit. That would have made sense. Have a powered up suit so he can actually contribute more to the fight than he actually did. Like Batman Beyond suit. He should have had something a step towards that. Especially as a 20-year veteran. Come on, Zach. You could have done more with Batman and you fucking did. And that was one of the biggest fucking problems I had with the Joss Whedon cut. You didn't properly utilize Batman. And you failed to do so again. And that fucking irks me to no goddamn end. One of the big three in the DC universe, and he's relegated to a side character a lot of the time, and it was fucking irritating. Enough about Batman. Wonder Woman. Well, there really isn't a lot to say about Wonder Woman. She was basically constant. And of course, well played by Gal Gadot, as always. I love her as Wonder Woman. I thought she was, round peg, round hole, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. What? I mean, yes, Wonder Woman 84 wasn't the greatest movie, but that was not Gal Gadot's fault at all. She played the best she could with what she had. But again, absolutely well played here by Gal Gadot. I absolutely love her as Wonder Woman. And probably one of the best additional sequences added to the movie that I thought was absolutely beautiful by Zack Snyder was her going to Greece and grabbing the arrow and learning about Darkseid. And that was, I had one little tiny problem of, well, why wouldn't Diana just bring a goddamn flashlight? Why would she have to find a bunch of conveniently placed items so she could have a torch? Just have her bring a goddamn flashlight. She does live in 2021. She is technically advanced. Why wouldn't she bring a flashlight? Come on, guys. Just work with me just a little bit here, Zach. But other than that little tiny nitpick, the entire sequence was beautiful. It was well done. I liked that she brought critical information and that she was giving critical information in a roundabout way by her mother because, she still has to obey the rules. But like the entire shooting of the arrow sequence, while a little bit ostentatious, what she said to the arrow when it concerns to Diana, that was very beautifully done. But when it comes to the Amazons and the mother box, I still have the same problem I did the last time. Is why is this in a fucking temple instead of buried in a mountain face of rock somewhere? It's like, come on, Amazons. And then that whole, dropping of the Halabzah and this intricate trap system and all that. They got a lot of Amazons killed. The only time I'm thinking in this sequence was, why? Why? Just fucking why? That was another one of those sequences when Steppenwolf was going to get the box that just was way too fucking long. But while it was too long, it did help Steppenwolf, and I'll get the Steppenwolf. Superman. Look, he was really good in the black suit. I like the black suit. It was fucking awesome. But Superman still had the same fucking problem. The minute he showed up, the fight was over. Now look, the fight originally was pretty much beat for beat the same, except for Lois, because instead of Batman going to find Lois and say, hey, bring in the big guns, it was, she basically went to his statue every day, even brought coffee for the officer, and just happened to be there on that day that Superman got resurrected, which was still a way to get her there to do what she needed to do to bring Clark back. But other than that, it was like, oh, that, and you know, and the whole Lois thing, that was just a drag on time that outside of her just being the plot device to, you know, knock some sense into Superman, was, again, kind of a waste of fucking time. It was like 5 minutes out of the movie, I was just fucking jerking itself off with Lois. And of course, you know, Superman coming back, coming to his senses, you know, his mother and all that thing again. Well, it was nice. And it was in the original movie. That was fine. And again, this was another welcome added sequence where Superman goes back to the ship and he's walking past all the suits that can be offered to him. And then he walks up and we're hearing the montage between Russell Crowe and Kevin Costner as, you know, his two fathers, and they're both speaking to him. Very well done sequence. I actually like that. That was that wasn't welcome added sequence that would have been in a normal director's cut. That was a great sequence. I tip my hat to Zack Snyder on that one. Well done sequence. But again, the final fight, the minute Superman showed up, the fight was over. It was just like, Steppenwolf was a good villain this time, but the minute Superman showed up, the fight was just over. And I must say, Superman was way more brutal than I thought he needed to be against Steppenwolf. Especially when he just like used his heat vision to just blow off his horn and was just sitting there beating on him. And I was just like, whoa, Clark. Whoa, slow down, son. Yeah, there's just no need to be this pissed off and this, you know, just this utterly brutal, because he was. And it was just like, that's just completely out of character for Superman. And yes, I'm talking the Big Blue Boy Scout that, you know, in the Superman animated show and Lois and Clark, the original, you know, Superman movies. This was just a little too much of a brutal Superman. And I'm just like, Zach, no. Superman would not be that brutal. Just no. I mean, I can understand kind of giving him the beat down and fighting him off and, you know, beating him down into submission, but he had done that already and was just still wailing on Steppenwolf. And it was just like, wow. Same fundamental problem from the last time Superman showed up. The minute he showed up, the fight was over. Now, Steppenwolf. Yes, he was way better and way better animated. I actually liked his armor. He was more of a threat, and the anti-life equation that he finds that was also really good. And, you know, him, you know, conversing back to Darkseid's powers, trying to get back in his good graces. And up until Superman showed up, Steppenwolf was actually a credible fucking threat. I liked that. Steppenwolf, the stuff they did with Steppenwolf was way better this time around. So, kudos to Zack Snyder for making Steppenwolf actually dangerous while hinting at Darkseid and actually showing him, but not undercutting Steppenwolf up until the end. But again, like I said with the Superman segment, the minute Superman showed up, it just fucking went downhill, and there we go. So, yeah, I mean, I think I kind of covered everything by going over all the characters. Like I said in the beginning, 6 out of 10. It was a marketable improvement over Joss Whedon. But it was just too much. Like Mary said, jerking itself off. Oh, one other character I didn't bring up, and this is kind of a spoiler, the Martian Manhunter. Useless. Absolutely useless. Waste of time. Except for him kind of showing up at the end to say, hey, I'm here. But other than that, Martian Manhunter, you could have completely cut him out and lost nothing. See, that's the kind of thing that the whole movie kind of suffered from. There were just certain shots where you could have cut it out of the Snyder Cut and you would have lost nothing out of the movie and probably shortened this movie by 30 minutes to an hour. That was one of the major problems with the Snyder Cut. It was just like, okay, why is this here? This does nothing for the movie. This is just extra fluff that doesn't need to be here that made it 4 fucking hours. In fact, the epilogue, my wife said it best. I thought an epilogue was supposed to be 2 minutes, not 40. That's the tombstone of the movie. Oh, and before I head out, because I am a Green Lantern fan. Now, am I the biggest Green Lantern fan ever? No. But out of the DC Universe, Green Lanterns are my favorite, whether it's Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, run the gambit. Except for that little girl who kind of hacked in and became a Green Lantern, that was dumb. That was just an insult to the Green Lanterns and how a Green Lantern is chosen. I don't consider that little girl. Just she can just fuck right off. Oh, and Jessica Gonzalez, I think her name is. She was a decent Green Lantern. Again, was picked because of a strong will. But a Green Lantern should not have made a key cameo in the Age of Heroes, and that was the Green Lantern involvement. Miss me on that. A Green Lantern should have been in the main lineup of heroes. I don't care if it's Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart. Give me a fucking Green Lantern. And that was one of the biggest critiques I had last time, and it's still one of the biggest critiques I have this time about Justice League. There was no Green Lantern. That infuriated me to no end. I mean, I know you spent all this time trying to pump up Flash, Cyborg, but no Green Lantern in the main line of heroes? Miss me. That was the biggest sin of either Joss Whedon or Zack Snyder's. There was no Green Lantern. That is an insult to Green Lantern fans, in my opinion. Take it as you will, but that was still one of the biggest fucks up. I told my girl Mara Jade that they didn't involve a Green Lantern. She said, oh, it will. No, it didn't. It was basically the same fucking movie with 2 hours of fluff in it. Granted, they changed how some of the sequences were done, but at the end of the day, still the same fucking movie. Just told slightly differently and with a bunch of fluff. I mean, yeah, there were some director cut added stuff in that did need to be added, but then there was just some fluffy bullshit that just was, again, jerking itself off. I mean, it's the best way I can explain it. It was just there to be there, and it didn't really add shit to the story. I mean, the perfect example, going back to the first sequence, when Batman's trying to recruit Aquaman, when he's getting ready to, dive off to go get the village food, and those girls just start singing. And they're singing for, a good minute? And it's like, the fuck is this? We really didn't need all that. And then Batman flies back to the plane, and he's still there, and they have that sequence with Alfred talking on how it's cold, and then they finally take off, and I was like, Jesus Christ, they could have cut this to slightly longer than what Joss did and accomplished the same exact thing and saved a good 10 minutes. Sorry, some of the stuff that Zack Snyder put back in that was left on the cutting floor should have stayed on the cutting floor. And that's the biggest sin in this movie. Beyond the underlying problems that are still there because of this movie, because Warner Brothers rushed this movie without putting out Aquaman and Wonder Woman first. And a Flash movie, not having a Green Lantern. It's just like, you still had the same fucking problems that the Joss Whedon cut had. And the Zack Snyder's cut did absolutely fuck all to address them. Alright, well, I've been flapping my gums for about 25 minutes now. This is probably one of the longest videos I've ever done solo. But I'm sure I have probably just pissed off most of the Zack Snyder fanboys or people who absolutely love the movie. I'm sorry. It was okay. It was meh. Again, 6 out of 10. It still had major problems. And I'm sorry because I know you think Zack Snyder was God up until he pissed off geeks and gamers. But I'm sorry. Zack Snyder's a mortal man. He's really good at certain things. Like, I loved him in 300, loved him doing Watchmen. I'm just going to put it point blank. He was not the man for the DCEU. He just simply wasn't. Maybe he could have tackled the Batman movie, and I would have loved to see a darker edged Batman movie with Zack Snyder at the helm. But the man in charge for the whole shooting match, no, he was not the guy for it. Anyways, that's it. I flapped my gums for a long time. My mouth is dry. I'm done flapping my gums. Tell me all what you think about this behemoth. I know it was long, but there was just so much to chew through. And a 4-hour-long movie, yeah, it was going to be almost a 30-minute video. There it is, guys. I'm Jeff. I'll catch you for the next one.